Hi, it's Peet and Reet, and a special report today here on October the 11th, Tuesday, and we're right in front of the Scotia Bank Centre where Kathleen Wynne is about to come by and speak to the Chamber of Commerce of Niagara Falls, and we had to be down here.
We did have to be down here because it's about time this changed. Selling hydro is just insane. It's our natural resource. Why are we giving it away? And these people clearly behind us agree that we shouldn't be giving it away. And our hydro rates have to come down. There are people who are not feeding their children, seniors that are not being able to pay their bills because the hydro rates are ridiculous.
Listen, our government was put in to take care of us. They're supposed to do what the majority wants us to do, or wants them to do. And when you're going to sell hydro for $9 billion, when we make $1 billion a year off of hydro, there's something wrong with that, because once that money's spent, it's gone. That $1 billion a year that we use for hospitals, for taking care of roads, transit, is gone, and it's not coming back in schools as well. It's not coming back once it's sold. So we've got a real problem with it. We're actually, I mean, at this point, we have press passes to get inside to see what she has to say. We understand now, initially she was going to take questions from people at the luncheon and from the media.
Now she's not.
Yeah, she's going to take questions at a school. Now, I mean, come on, folks. Let's stand up and be accounted. She needs to be accounted for. We're going to let you know and keep you informed of what's going on today down at the Scotia Bank Centre.
And the charity at the club. That one, gotta go.
Special edition of the Peet and Reet Show. We're on location at the Scotia Bank Centre, Niagara Falls, and the situation here is that we have a pile of protesters who are unhappy with Premier Wynne, and she's coming down to talk and address the Chamber of Commerce here in Niagara Falls. Your opinion?
Well, she's coming down here to tell us what she's doing for us, and we're here to tell her what we're unhappy about. She's not working for us. She's working for the bottom line of her government and their best interests. And actually, I don't know who she's working for, to be honest, because no one in this province is benefiting from the things that she's doing. We're all suffering. There are people suffering a lot more than me. I live in a rural area. I have a farm. I've always paid high delivery charges for my hydro, but now they're increasing, and they're set to increase again. And we can't afford it. I mean, and we're not struggling. So we're talking to people in town, we're talking to retirees, we're talking to pensioners, and they're literally crying. I mean, I've talked to people just yesterday and today that are thinking they may lose their homes over this. It's not anything to laugh about, and she's making these decisions without thinking about the people, and she's elected to support us, and she's ignoring us.
Well, she's offering 8% back January 1st. Isn't that going to help?
Maybe you and me can go for a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that might really help us all out. Like, we're talking about people losing their homes, choosing between hydro and food. You know, they have no way to recover this income. It's easy for the middle class or the middle and high class to, you know, switch some things around or have a little less extra.
But eventually that's going to run out too as they keep getting in the pocket.
Of course it will.
Now, tell me about the sale of hydro. What do you figure?
It's ridiculous. Okay, so we're going to put all these windmills up. We're going to gouge all of Ontario to pay high hydro rates, and now we're going to sell that asset? Like, I mean, I'm not in favor of all of this windmill development and everything else, but if we are going to do this, let's get the benefit from it. At least then we can try to pay for some of what she's done. But instead, let's sell it off and privatize it, just like the 407. So now we're all going to suffer more, and we're not going to get any of the profits down the road.
And how do we benefit? Where are we going to save on our hydro bills? By the way, just as a reminder, all of us, we've been extremely good. We use less hydro than we used in 1995. And now we're being penalized. I guess in Ottawa, they want to punish people who are conserving their electricity.
And water.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a no-win situation. Again, the pensioners and the retirees, they've always been frugal. They're always going to be frugal, and they're getting taken with their water bills as well now with their hydro bills. We have too much hydro. That's the problem in Niagara. We have too much hydro, and we pay the highest hydro bill in North America. How is that right?
And it's our natural resource.
And it's our natural
Why are we giving it away?
And paying people to take it. We're paying the United States to take this. How is this even possible? We're subsidizing Quebec, and we're starving here in Niagara. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
John, follow us. We're going to go over to this lady and talk to her if you can. Okay, you were driving by, you saw us standing out here, and you said, I got to be a part of this. Why?
I'm sick of what's happening to my province.
And what's that?
There's rich and poor. Nobody wants to help or support middle class. I was born and raised in Toronto. I moved to Niagara Falls because it was cheaper. I applied for disability. The housing, the mental health, I want to cry. It's just, there's no help. And this so-called politician, I've never been into politics in my whole life, and I've been reading online and watching TV.
And it makes you mad?
Yeah.
I think it makes you sad too, doesn't it?
It makes me very sad. I want to cry. What's happening to my city, my province, my country?
Well, we thank you for
you so
coming down
much.
here,
Thank
supporting the people that can't get down
She's
here.
negligent. There's, I mean, these people. I don't know that much, but
You know
there's-
enough that
there's
hydro rates
the-
are going up and people can't afford to pay.
we have less than a block away. We have a natural source of energy.
And we're
and-
sending it back across the border for peanuts or for nothing.
And for somebody to not have to put food on their table to put their lights on, it's sad.
Thanks so
it's
much.
Well, yeah, thank you for showing up.
Being here.
You know, we sit here and we wonder why there's not a bazillion people here, but understand, it's Tuesday morning after Thanksgiving. People have to go to work.
I didn't
have-
have Thanksgiving. I didn't have a turkey. I didn't have anything.
People have to go to work because they need to pay their hydro bills.
Are there jobs?
You know?
What jobs?
That's true.
Yeah, there's very few jobs. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day, honey.
You too.
We're gonna get you. Do you want to come in here and say a few words to us? Does liberal mismanagement float? Doesn't look like it does. It seems
No,
like
it
it's
certainly
going over.
doesn't.
You're down here today. Why?
I'm down here today because two reasons. One is my personal hydro bill is ridiculously high. The second is I'm the president of a housing cooperative, and I represent a lot of people. It's a 50-unit building, a lot of people on disability, OW, limited incomes, and they're finding it difficult to be able to live. As some of the chants have said, they're choosing between food and paying their bills. And if any other business, in my opinion, if any other business had a 300-400% rate increase in one calendar year, the government would be stepping in and saying that you've got some improper business practices going on. However, when it's the government doing it, somehow that's okay. Well, I don't think it's okay. If it was something that was extra, like internet or cell phones or something like that, that's one thing. But this is a necessity. And when people's basic rights, basic ability to live and survive is being severely compromised, I mean, I've never protested anything in my life, but this has gotten to a point where I just can't stand by anymore.
Now, she's going to sell hydro. That's what she wants to do, and it seems like we can't put the brakes on that. Can you tell me what the benefit of selling hydro is? It going to help our hydro bills go down? Is it going to help people live better in this province?
From my limited understanding, no. And the thing that's most concerning to me is they passed a Green Energy Act a number of years ago, but they've now put the kibosh on funding and research on alternative forms of energy. So it looks like they're just kind of funneling everything they're creating a monopoly where the only place you can go is hydro. So I don't understand all the back channel negotiations. I just know that we're getting taken advantage of.
Well, thank you so much.
Literally.
We've got the MPP for Niagara here, Wayne Gates. I'm going to see if I can grab him.
Thanks so much. Hey, how are you? I'm great. How are you?
Slide on in here, Wayne.
Oh my God, how you doing?
Yeah,
In the middle.
yeah, in the middle.
Whole guy in the middle.
Listen, we're going to have you on the show tomorrow. We're going to
Yes,
talk.
we are.
We're going to
Yep.
talk in detail. But today, you're outside the Scotia Bank Centre. The Premier is coming down. What you doing here?
Well, one, she's going to come and talk about hydro rates, and we're very, very disappointed not as a party. We've been fighting the high hydro rates here in Niagara, right across the province for a long time. She's going down the wrong path of privatizing our hydro rates.
What's that going to do? What's that
Privatizing
going to do to us?
Well, the reality is, I don't know if anybody understands it really, but the reality is that when you privatize something that you already own, that you're already getting $1 billion. Now think about this. We own it. We're getting $1 billion to invest in infrastructure, to invest in healthcare, to invest in our public funded healthcare. That's $1 billion every year for the next 100 years. And what she's going to do is sell it off. She might get somewhere between $6 and $9 billion. So after 6 years, that money, what you would have got anyways with a profit is gone. Well, wouldn't you want to keep that $1 billion for 94 years? Reinvest in infrastructure, reinvest in healthcare, reinvest in and from that, keep our rates affordable so that manufacturers will then invest in Ontario instead of investing across the river in the USA. So I'm here to listen to her message, to continue to put pressure on her to say this is wrong for Ontarians, this is wrong for my riding. And when I have people come to my office, and we've been buddies for a long time. They come in my office and they go, Wayne, I've always paid my bill. I don't want assistance. I don't want anything. Hydro in the province of Ontario should be affordable. And then they break down crying. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a politician, if you're a human being, and you see people that have a lot of pride in what they do, a lot of pride in the fact that they go to work every day, they raise their family, they put the kids through school, and hydro rates are killing them to a point where they're coming to my office. I don't know them, and they're breaking down crying. When you see that in the province of Ontario, we have to send a message to Kathleen Wynne. What she's doing is wrong. The selling off of Hydro One is wrong for residents in Ontario. It's wrong for my riding. And if you look at the other party, where I've listened to them as well. Well, the Conservatives want to privatize it too. The issue here is we own it. If you want to sell anything that we own, it's an asset that we own. Then they should go to the residents. They should go to the people of the province of Ontario and put it on the ballot box. And I'm guaranteeing that right now, over 80% of the people in the province of Ontario are saying, don't sell it. We have over 200 municipalities that are saying, don't sell it. We all can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Why are they not listening? What's in it for them?
I wish I knew that answer. You know what? I don't understand it other than a lot of their friends are getting rich at our expense. And I think we've said that over and over again. I don't know why she wouldn't listen. Now, we have taken her on, and that's why, people talk about petitions, they talk about protests, they don't work. Well, we have taken on when they wanted to raise the senior drug costs in the province of Ontario. We took that issue on, and we won. And that actually started in Fort Erie when we went door to door and said this is wrong for seniors. When we took on autism doesn't stop at 5. And parents, children came to Queen's Park and they sat and again they broke down crying and said, "These are my kids." Well, we forced her to listen there, and we have to continue to do what we're doing here to try and force her to listen, to stop the sale of Hydro. Don't sell any more Hydro One. It's the biggest mistake. I'll be probably dead and gone before this kind of plays out, but it's the biggest mistake in the history of the province of Ontario.
So I got to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
She seems to be doing it regardless of what anybody thinks. She's come down here. We just found out, and it's a rumor now, we just found out that she's not going to take questions here, that she's going to take them at a school later this afternoon. Why is she here? Why'd she show up?
It's my understanding, and I haven't heard the rumor. It's my understanding, and I'm reading the local newspaper. I can tell you, Kathleen Wynne didn't call me this morning to tell me what she was doing. But at the end of the day, she's supposed to take questions from the chamber, take questions from what she's saying, residents. I'll be surprised if she doesn't, because it's been advertised that that's why she's here. She's going to answer questions around hydro, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, especially a lot of the small manufacturers that are going to be here today, the small businesses that are going to be here today, that are having the same problem that I'm having. I'm paying my hydro bill. They're having the same problem in their business too, and staying afloat. And quite frankly, small business drive our economy. Small business keep people working, and if they can't afford to pay their hydro bill, there's two things that happen. They either have to continue, they have to do the work themselves, they have to lay somebody off, or they have to close. And in a province as rich as we are in hydro power that we have right here by the falls,
resources,
it makes no sense to
absolutely.
me.
Wayne, I look forward to you coming by the studio tomorrow. And
Thanks so much.
Always a pleasure. I can't hug on TV, sorry.
We'll hug later.
all right. Peet and Reet with one of the respected councillors of Niagara Falls, who I've known forever. Used to be my hockey coach when I played for the Brock Badgers, and always a guy when on council that thinks about his fellow man and the people he serves, and you've always been like that. We went through some stuff with the fire pits and stuff. You fought hard for that. We got that back in the hands of the people again. What do you think's going on here today with Premier Wynne and the hydro rates?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for those kind comments. It's always easy when you're doing the right thing for the right reason. I'm here to gather information. I have no idea what's going to be said. There's been no media release that I've been aware of, and just trying to get some information.
What do you figure about hydro rates? And you, obviously people must be coming to you and talking to you about it.
Yes, you know what really frustrates me is that we have. My numbers are probably wrong, but it's the statistics. We've got about 3,000 low rental checks that aren't being taken advantage of, low income. And whether the people don't know that they can apply for this to help reduce their hydro bills, I don't know. I'm very, very frustrated by it. Project Share is trying to keep on top of it, and they're just not making the applications to receive that funding that will help reduce their electric costs.
Do you think hydro costs are getting out of hand?
It's hard to say. You know, it's cheaper here, I believe, than it is in Europe, right?
But we're
I still don't think that makes it right.
No, I know,
No?
I agree. But the point is that you know, we're going about it, I think, in the long run, the right way. We have to rely more on natural sources, wind, solar. I know they don't want to spend the billions of dollars to build another nuclear reactor. They're going to have to spend billions to replenish or repair. What's the one out in the other side of Toronto, Darlington?
Yep.
I know I read something about that just recently. So it's a move forward. Yes, it is perhaps too expensive for some people, but that's why we've got the availability of these low-income funds that will help people stay in their home.
What about the people that aren't quite low income but are struggling just to make sure that they pay the bills and feed their families? You know, maybe they're just on that gray area of not getting that subsidy.
I understand. I don't know what the threshold is, but the possibility that they might fall under that guideline as well. I really don't know the threshold.
What about selling of hydro? What do you think about that?
I think it's a terrible mistake.
And why would that be a terrible mistake?
Not because it belongs to us. It belongs to the people of Ontario, right? And you look what they did with the Highway 407. They sold it, and now it costs an arm and a leg to drive on the highway.
So what's going to happen here is once it's privatized, business and people are in there as private people to make money in private corporations.
Yeah.
So if we think it's high now, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a situation. Why won't you listen to the people? I mean, 80% of people.
That's why I'm here today, to find out why.
Okay. Wayne, thank you so
Fair
much
enough.
for stopping by.
luck.
We've been talking so much about the big windmills. You happen to be from the area. I've been through there because I have a place, a trailer out there. I don't even see them running, but I find them ugly. They're almost like something we talked about it
It's a
before.
monolith
Yeah.
of our tragedy.
Yeah,
really.
100 years down the road, people are going to walk out there and say, "Whoa, what are these?"
Yeah.
In 10 years, they're going to be rusting and crappy looking. Galvanized steel rusts. They're huge. The transmission lines that they put in dwarf telephone poles. They're literally twice the size of that. I can't put my arms around the base of one. The guards they put in have impeded farmers' traffic so that you can't get a tractor down the road safely. Never mind cyclists now, which is a huge issue. They're horrible. They don't produce energy. We're selling it off at a loss. I mean, it's got to stop. It's killing everybody. It's killing the economy. They're driving us down. That's my 2 cents.
And what about, they say these towers are making people not feel well because they're emitting frequencies and pulsations. Have you heard anything like that out your way?
I've heard plenty of stories about that. They're conducting studies on the matter. I know that people's values in houses are going down. I do know that some people have complained about vibrations, but I mean, you got to look at it this way. You got a housing bubble. Places are going for, almost $500,000 or more in some cases. They erect these things in these god-awful places, drive the housing market down for that individual who's got to look at it. What's going to happen when the bottom falls out? It's a bad economy to begin with, and we just can't win with liberals.
All right,
Win.
Now you got an opportunity to tell her what you think. What does she need to do to straighten things
Right
around?
there.
Right in there.
So you got to go. You got to go, period. That's it. No more liberals. No more.
Can't afford it.
Can't afford it.
Okay.
Ontario can't afford it. Canada can't afford it.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
the opportunity.
No problem.
People have spoken.
That's awesome. Great.
Well, we're going to get ready to go inside.
Yes.
it almost feels wrong to be out here because you have security looking at you and stuff like that. And
cops driving by every once in a while.
And you're not supposed to say anything. People, don't be afraid to say something.
Speak up.
Speak up. Don't worry. This premier has to get the message. You cannot sell hydro. It belongs to us, all of us.
But unless everybody stands up and says enough is enough, then they're never going to change. It's going to stay the same, and if you do nothing, then you deserve the high prices you're going to get. Right. And that's unfortunate because it's going to hurt a lot of people.
Now, you were singing a little song this morning. What was that?
Hey ho, wind's got to go.
Yeah, because she's going to get rid of our hydro. It's not funny, folks. It really isn't. It's something to be taken seriously. You can make a difference if we get together, stick together.
If you can't come out to rallies or just go to your internet, pick up your phone,
petition,
call their office, make your voice heard.
Yeah, we just want change. We want people to live like they should in a beautiful province like this, full of natural resources and beautiful scenic areas. We should be having the time of our lives here, and I think we still can if we just put the brakes on here and let's have a look at what's really going on.
Exactly.
We're going to go inside, hopefully, and see what's going on there, and we will come back out and tell you what we heard from Premier Kathleen Wynne.
Hey ho, wind's got to go. 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 Hey ho, wind's got to go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce and in partnership with the Niagara Industrial Association, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to this important gathering, which brings together key stakeholders from Niagara's private and public sectors with one common interest: to ensure prosperity and success. My name is Mishka Balsam, and I'm the CEO and President of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce.
I'm pleased to welcome our Premier, the Honourable Kathleen Wynne, today to Niagara Region and for the Niagara Business Leadership Series. Thank you to the GNCC and the Niagara Industrial Association for hosting today's event. We're excited to be working alongside our provincial partners on a number of important initiatives for Niagara businesses and Niagara residences. On behalf of Regional Council and Niagara's 12 municipalities, it's my pleasure to acknowledge our partnership with Ontario's government and once again, welcome Premier Wynne to beautiful Niagara Region. Thank you.
It's great to be here with the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce and Niagara Industrial Association. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here on what is, I know, short notice, and I very much appreciate it. And I'll be back on November 3rd and 4th for the Ontario Chamber of Commerce Economic Summit, so I expect that I may see some of you there as well. So thank you very much for being here. What has motivated me is people, and motivating communities to come together to solve problems. The opportunities we have here in Ontario to make a positive difference in each other's lives. And that is what our economic plan is all about. That's at its root. It's the plan that we were elected 2 years ago to implement. It's a balanced plan that is designed to build everyone up. We brought the legislature back with a speech from the throne to mark the midway point in our mandate and to talk about what had been accomplished and what we needed to do going forward. It was an opportunity to look at those challenges that are still confronting us in the context of what we had achieved. It was a chance to refocus on achieving the outcomes that motivated me to seek public office in the first place, and helping people every day over the course of their lives being at the root of that. The investments that we've made in clean, reliable power were essential. The system was a mess. Smog days were a more reliable fact of life in Ontario than lights staying on, and that was an unacceptable situation. Today, electricity is dependable and 90% emissions free. But as we all know, being a North America leader in the fight against climate change and building the grid of the 21st century has come with costs. We recognize that. And when those costs make it hard for businesses to grow, then we all have a problem. And it's not just a problem for business. It's a problem for workers, and for every one of us in the community, because we all need businesses to be able to compete and to grow. So we've taken a number of actions to take the cost out of the system and off people's bills. I know that it has been tough this past decade. There have been many, many challenges that you have all confronted, and it is still tough. We are in a fragile global economy. You only have to listen to the rhetoric to the south of us to understand that there are many, many challenges that we as a continent are confronting. Wade and I have a lot to talk about, and I'm sure you've got questions, so we'll get started on that part of the agenda. Thank you very much, Merci. Miigwech.
So there you've seen some of what Premier Wynne had to say today in Niagara Falls at the Scotia Bank Centre. You know, she spoke well. I'm not going to say she didn't speak well.
She was eloquent, but...
Yeah. I felt like I was at one half of the presidential debate, because when I listened to Hillary Clinton talk, I heard her talk about we're going to do this, we're going to do this, this has been done, and then I say, how did you do it and how are you going to do it? And I listened to Kathleen Wynne speak today, and she talked a lot about all kinds of different things, and I didn't understand how she was going to do it. And at one point she was asking, well, we don't know, how should we do this, right?
Yeah.
And she was talking about a number of things. But if you're looking at what happened with hydro, basically she thinks that the 8% in January is amazing.
It's wonderful,
Yeah.
in her words.
She also talked about the lower income people are going to be able to get some money back. We're not talking about a small amount of money here. And I really, in sitting there listening to her, she has some good ideas about education and stuff. She really did. I'll give her credit for that. But she's lost touch with us. She is not understanding that people are suffering. She spoke about the wind turbines. She spoke about the environment. She spoke about the carbon that we're emitting and said, yes, I know it's very low, but per capita, we're taking in a ton of other people's carbon.
Exactly.
We are being responsible. We have been responsible, and that wasn't addressed. And I think the Premier really needs to stand up and say, you know what, you people have done your part, and you followed the rules, and you've done better than I anticipated. And when she got to wind turbines, she was confused because she said, well, we are looking at it, but we're not sure about certain areas, and we know it's affecting people in Wainfleet. I believe somebody from Pelham Wainfleet was asking about that. And she said, but I'm not sure which projects are on the way or at what stage they're at. How can you not
know?
Yeah, be informed when this is probably one of the biggest things that's hit Ontario in a long time, and you don't know about it.
And you had the mayor standing up asking, well, these wind turbines, April Jeffs was the mayor, by the way, that stood up and said these wind turbines are in people's backyards, and we don't know the health consequences to them, and they're ruining, the property value is going down because of them. And she had really no answer for that other than we're looking into it.
Yeah. Now, we told you that questions weren't allowed, and they weren't for press. Press has to go to a meeting tonight, which we can't be at. I believe is it in Pelham at a winery or something?
Yes.
We can't be there. We have other engagements. But you listen.
It was double talk, complete double talk. It was a way of spinning everything to make her sound like she knows what's going on, that she's informed, and that she's helping people in Ontario, which just came across like a load of baloney to me.
And see, I thought we weren't allowed as press to ask questions. I thought somebody in there, because they were going to be allowed to ask questions, that we were told there was 3 questions, and 2 of them were basically praise, right?
Yeah, praise.
We had the chairman of president of Niagara College who was saying it's so wonderful because we got the GE plant. Now, I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I did hear that it's cost us $4 million to attract GE to Welland. So it's cost money to make money.
Yeah.
And you know what? I am glad Welland's got it. I mean, we need industry in Niagara big time to support it. It's the only way you're going to get the economy. And she was talking about, she at one point said something about the economy. It's something we talk about, but we have to feel it. What
the heck is that?
Yeah, you have to feel it. You got to have a job to feel anything, to feel like you can pay your bills and be a happy citizen.
And she went on and on about how many new jobs have been created. She didn't once say, were they full-time jobs?
Were they in the tourist industry where you get called off when it's not a busy day?
Yeah, she never once mentioned any of that.
Yeah. So I didn't think it was very productive at all. She said she's coming back in November.
It was a kiss business butt luncheon was basically what it was for me. It was make the business, seem like she's doing exactly what they want, but she really is doing nothing.
Now, the mayor of St. Catharines, Mayor Susnick, had asked a question regarding housing and how a lot of foreign people are coming in, buying sight unseen properties, and we all know that in Niagara our housing prices are going through the roof. Her concern was not what was happening with the people who currently own homes or have the ability, or the forests and stuff that are being taken down to rebuild all these homes that we need all of a sudden. Her concern was about young people being able to afford it. And I'll be honest with you, that is why we're talking about hydro rates, selling off hydro, because I am worried about my children. I'm worried about my grandchildren, if I ever have any, and you as well, that they're going to be able to have a decent life, to live in a house, to be able to afford to pay their bills.
Be able to afford the home, for one thing, be able to afford the hydro, and to have a job to pay for any of those things is something we should all be concerned with.
So I think at this point, for me, it was just a political event, a smokescreen. There was a lot of Liberals there. Wayne Gates was there. He was sitting at her table. She did mention him. Wayne's going to be on our show tomorrow, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about what we saw today.
Yeah. And for me, this was just a lot of kissing.
Yeah. So from the Scotia Bank Centre in Niagara Falls, it's Peet and Reet. And sorry we didn't have better news for you. The other thing that wasn't touched on today was the sale of Ontario Hydro, which really, really shocks me, because that's a biggie, folks. That wasn't even addressed at all today. Hopefully somebody tonight, I know we were sitting with other media, even media from Buffalo, they were concerned about the questions that were asked, and some of them can't make it tonight as well. So anyways, Peet and Reet from the Scotia Bank Centre. We'll see you next time on the, well, I guess coming up will be the Friday night wrap we do next.
It will.
See you then. I think that